Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Nathan Cabot here, DJ Nathan Cabot. I wanted to make a video today and do something kind of special. I haven't done many videos before for YouTube. We're kind of getting this thing started up, but an idea that I had that I wanted to share with you today. If you're a DJ or a couple, I think you might find this interesting, an engaged couple. I want to go through the Dancefloor playlist history from a recent wedding that I got to be a part of. So the goal here is I'm going to go through every song that I played during a 2 hour dance floor for a great couple I got to work for. Their names were Morgan and Andrew, and they had just a really fun party crew with the wedding. Really beautiful May 24th, Memorial Day weekend wedding. The vibes were great. I think there's a good opportunity here to kind of show you how I blended in songs that they requested I play with stuff that I chose to play, and a couple little fun stories kind of that took place throughout the dance floor time as well. So without further ado, let's get into it here. So just for a little bit of background, during this wedding, we had a little bit of a timeline issue with our catering for dinner time. It basically got pushed back. It got delayed. There was some mishap there that I wasn't privy to the details of. But what that ultimately meant was we got 2 hours for dance floor time. So normally here in Iowa, for wedding timelines, we'll typically end up with 3 or sometimes 4 hours for the dance floor time at the end of the day, which gives for maybe some more flexibility or including more overall number of songs for the dance time. But for this wedding, we had 2 hours, and I knew the vibes had to be just good for the whole time because of this issue that had happened earlier. I wanted to kind of help the couple to have a really good time despite the issues that they dealt with their caterer. So I'll try and go through with that. I'm going to call out songs that I chose to play, songs that were on the playlist, and a couple little fun side stories as we get to it there. So um, highlighted right here is our first dance song of the day. So we started off the dance floor with a couple's first dance, and then the father and daughter dance, and then the mother and son dance. For those first three, You'll Be in My Heart is one of my favorites of all time. I love that Tarzan movie, so that's a good one. I wanted to start the floor off with a slow song for everybody, just to kind of help set the mood right and get some people out to the dance floor. Tennessee Whiskey was on their playlist anyway, so that was a good choice for me for that one. Opening up the dance floor for the party time, we kind of kept it going from here, to be honest, for basically the whole time as well. So Hips Don't Lie, I chose a song off their playlist again that I thought would be a fun, kind of unique, not a typical maybe opener song that I play during weddings, but it's right in that 100 BPM range, which is great for kind of moving between a couple different good songs from there. So Country Girl, Shake It For Me was on their playlist as well. Mixed it right in, bring that tempo up just a bit. I Am All Star as well, and Yeah by Usher. Those are kind of fun, back to back. We're still right in that 100 range, and again, I'm trying to keep the energy really good right at the start to help this party kind of get ramped up and go from there. So All Star, I like to do take that whistle and the break. You go right into Yeah by Usher, drop it on the one. It's kind of a fun little mix. Dancing Queen was on their playlist. I prefer the scooter redrum of this song. It just really brings those drums out really punchy. I believe that's on DMS. So if you're a DJ, you grab that there. I chose to play Are You Gonna Be My Girl by Jet. I really like this song, and I wanted to get into Stacy's Mom, which was on their playlist. So that one played right from the top and let that one ride out pretty far. Sticking with the rock theme, kind of doing the mashup here that DJ Even Steve has popularized and gotten a lot of attention for, but Dynamite by Taio Cruz, the wordplay mixes into Don't Stop Believin'. So again, we've kind of ridden a whole journey from a slow song up through some 2000s, some throwbacks, some older stuff, some rock, and I wanted to switch it up a little bit here. And this is my first kind of fun moment for the day. The couple were huge Star Wars fans. They told me during the planning calls that they really enjoyed it. They really enjoyed the whole kind of Star Wars universe really together. The Bride's Walking Down the Aisle song was the song from episode 2, I think, with the love theme across the stars from Star Wars. So her and her dad walked down the aisle to that song. So I knew I could get away with something Star Wars related a little bit. So I had heard, or I saw like a reel on Instagram where you take the end of Gangsta's Paradise with the choir sound, and it goes into Duel of the Fates right at the very start with that big choir kind of intro. If you know, you know. Look it up. I'm sure you could find it, but I chose to do that as kind of a fun like callback to the Star Wars reference. I did not play it for very long. I think I saw the groom's face at one point. I think he kind of understood what I was doing, but I went pretty quickly through it. It was just, again, a fun little seasoning, like, intro, moment to, I don't know. It was fun. I kind of got away with it, I suppose, if you want to call it that. But just including something that I knew they liked, they told me they liked, and it's a little unique. It's sort of a creative risk. To get out of it, I played this little disco remix of the Cantina Band song from Star Wars as well, just over, hitting that Star Wars note, and then mixed into Gimme Gimme by ABBA, which I knew would kind of get everybody back engaged. So between Gangsta's Paradise, Duel of the Fates, and the Cantina Band, that was probably about 2 minutes total between those 3 songs. So again, just really quick and kind of get through it and get to the rest of the party from there. But a little seasoning for the couple with something that I knew they liked. Fun. Runaway was on their playlist by Galantis, so that naturally kind of gets us into some 2010s. Levels by Avicii, Hotel Room Service, Feel So Close by Calvin Harris. Those were all on their playlist as well, so kind of right from there. Bringing back some of the older stuff, You Shook Me All Night Long. AC/DC is a classic wedding dance floor song for that rock vibe. After that, I chose to play Shipping You Up to Boston, which is kind of like a drinking song, but the best man in his speech, he mentioned that the groom and them had had a lot of fun, like parties and fun memories from St. Patrick's Day celebrations, and going out to have some drinks with the boys and stuff like that was specifically mentioned. So I thought I could get away with that, and it went over pretty good. This version here, I think, was from DMS. It's got that extended kind of guitar intro to kind of set the mood for that. From there, Your Love by The Outfield was requested, so I played that. This from Even Steve. He's got a quantized version which has a really nice grid and an intro. It's just basically the first kind of verse of the song, or first chorus. So it's not a very long song, but a great sing-along moment. I have a reel up on my Instagram where we kind of played that. It's like, why do I always lose my voice at a wedding when I'm DJing? Which I sometimes do, but songs like that, which are a little high out of my singing range, but it's so fun to sing along to. I Want to Dance with Somebody, Whitney Houston, was on their playlist. Stargazing, I chose to play as kind of a newer, folky, EDM-y type song. I really like that personally, so I chose to include that one. Chapel Roan was requested, so to stay in that same vibe and kind of satisfy that request, I played this Fusion Mania Sky Full of Stars bootleg for Pink Pony Club on DMS as well. Most of my stuff is from DMS. Chose to change the vibe up, get back to some country from there. Beer Never Broke My Heart has been a great sing-along country vibe to play for me at my Midwestern weddings. So I like to drop that just right from the top, and it's got that really heavy guitar riff, which is a lot of fun. And it helped me get into Danger Zone by Kenny Loggins, which the groom is in the military service, the Navy, and specifically is he's pursuing the route to be a pilot eventually. So I kind of knew that, again, listening to the speeches and kind of what he liked and what I knew that might be a good reference to, like, the Top Gun vibe, and it went over really well for that. I Knew You Were Trouble by Taylor Swift mixes in well to that. That's been a really good kind of, it's old enough now where it's almost a throwback, and it's got the fun sing-along in the chorus, and the tempo matches kind of right up there. Dixieland Delight was on their playlist. That's a classic Midwest country song to include, so I let that one kind of ride out. Brandy, You're a Fine Girl, I believe, was on their playlist as well. I chose to include kind of a fun little remix of the Spider-Man theme, just for like a verse quick here. It's kind of got like a swing beat to it, and mixes fairly well with kind of whatever you want to go to from there. But again, that superhero kind of Star Wars theme, the groom's mom mentioned in a speech how he liked Spider-Man and used to pretend to be Spider-Man when he was a kid, I guess. So just, again, I'd like to, if the speeches give me some information as a DJ, how can I include that in the dance floor as like just a little inside joke or inside reference? Like, even if it's just for 30 seconds, it helps the dance floor to feel unique and different than maybe a Spotify playlist would. Shabuzi Bar Song was on the playlist. Of course, Buy You a Drink by T-Pain, kind of on the bar theme. I always like to shout out the bartenders, make some noise with bartenders, everybody, during those songs, which is a lot of fun. To get into some hip-hop vibes from there, No Diggity has been a really good throwback hip-hop song for me to include lately. London Bridge by Fergie was on their playlist. I chose to include California Love. After that, that's one of my personal favorites from that era, so I like to include that when it makes sense. Another moment from the speech, or the groom saying thank you at the end, they mentioned how people have traveled from all over to be here, including a few even from Australia. They had some friends, I guess, who traveled from Australia to Galena, Illinois, to this wedding. So we played Down Under. I kind of gave a shout out to the Australian friends from there, and they all kind of got together and had a fun moment. Espresso, I believe, was requested in the moment, so I chose to include that one. Kind of mixed well, just to kind of quick mix in and out. It's a little chiller of a song, but it's new and fresh, and Sabrina Carpenter is obviously very popular right now. Miami by Will Smith, I believe, was also requested, so we included that. That old Will Smith vibes in the right dose is really fun. I like to include that. Save a Horse was on the playlist, as well as Get Low, and I believe 1-2 Step as well. So those three all in a row, kind of got those incorporated there. Temperature by Sean Paul, I kind of chose to play, and then this is a little routine that I like to do when I get into that vibe of music. Temperature, Calabria with the saxophone beat into Mr. Saxo Beat for the saxophone once again, and Sexy Chick by David Guetta. Those three are all in the same key, so they can mix really well and smoothly together. It's kind of like one long mashup, which is a ton of fun. Every Time We Touch was on their playlist, and then I do the mix sometimes where if I know that rock has worked in the past, Every Time We Touch and Panama by Van Halen are in the same tempo range, so you can kind of get right out of the one into the other. And if the vibe is right, Panama sometimes works really well. It's like a fun sing-along rock and roll song, but in this particular instance, it kind of didn't work super well, so I kind of mixed out quickly from there. But I love Van Halen, so it's always fun to include some of those if I can. Holding Out for a Hero by Frou Frou from the Shrek soundtrack was on the playlist, so I chose to include that for them. I did get one of the guests going like this to me, like, oh, let's get to the next one from there. So I let it ride out for the couple because I knew they requested it for, I think, a verse or two. But then bringing the energy back up high, No Hands, Waka Flocka is kind of a go-to. Like, let's re-energize the room. If new hip-hop was working well earlier a little bit, we chose to include it. I Like It by Cardi B. I have a clean version, of course. Nueva Y'all. Sorry, butchering that. Bad Bunny. That was on the playlist as well. So we're kind of sticking into that new hip-hop vibe. Throwing it back just a little bit, we played Sexy Back by Justin Timberlake. I believe it was on their playlist. I like to drop from the one into Lil Boo Thang from Sexy Back. That's kind of a fun, reference from there. Just this, similar tempo. Lil Boo Thang is nice because it's a very short song, so you can almost play the whole song and it sounds like you're quick mixing it, but kind of a good surprise. Hit it right away. Moved on from there. Hey Baby, Drop It to the Floor was on their playlist, and then that lead me to another routine that I chose to work into the dance floor. I have this version from Heavy Hits of S&M with Tokyo Drift as like the underbeat. Goes really hard. I really like it. It's a kind of a guilty pleasure type of song, I suppose. But then a routine I kind of came up with that I like to include. More Ghosts and Stuff is kind of a unique little house beat, but you leave the verse going for the Rihanna, and you go into the beat. They're in the same key, and it's just a fun, like, groovy electro song. One of my personal favorites. So it's just a little seasoning that I really like and include when the party goes well. And you move really quick into Memories by David Guetta to bring it back to something that probably more people will recognize than maybe the Ghosts and Stuff. Whoop There It Is, Gin and Sonic remix. If the crowd is kind of into it, or they like sports and stuff, that was a fun one to include. Move into The Time, Dirty Bit by Black Eyed Peas from there. Again, we're kind of in that good electro house range there for 5 or 6 songs. Throwing it back, I had Not Like Us was requested, so I like to do this Talk Dirty to Me by Jason Derulo. I think this was on DMS as well, but then you go into the Not Like Us with the intro, and it's a lot of fun to include from there. Up Down by T-Pain was on their playlist, so again, we're hitting some of the hip-hop vibes for them. Throwing it back in the BPMs and the years. We're in the Cyclone, Baby Bash, that was on their playlist as well as Bedrock by Young Money. I chose to include Just Wanna Rock. I thought that song still has a little bit of life. I have a short version of it, so kind of got in and out real quick there. I Love It was on their playlist. I have this clap intro version that kind of helps to reset after, it's a tempo change from Just Wanna Rock into Iconopop there. And then wrapping it up for the day, Love Story was on their playlist. They specifically said Taylor's version, of course. And then for the very last song of the night with everybody, American Pie, they specifically said you got to play the whole song because all of our fraternity brothers and all of our friends know every single word to this song. And they even had like some custom, like, invented lyrics that they all kind of knew. It was this almost like an inside kind of joke thing. So we let the whole 7 minutes of American Pie play for the end song there. And then the couple shared a private last dance. We kicked everybody out. They got to do It's Been a Long, Long Time from the Avengers movie for their last official song of the night. And then there are 3 bonus tracks there as kind of like my elevator music stuff that I like to start cleaning up to, after I say thank you to the couple and stuff like that. See You by Dead Mouse, Rolling Sevens, Dirty Honey, Fun Rock Vibe, and Places to Be by Fred again. Like some fun ones. Just to I'm playing super low volume as I go and like pick up my uplights around the room and stuff like that. So there you have it. If you would like, I have a PDF version of the playlist kind of in the description here below. You can pick that up. But again, if you're a DJ, hopefully you found something interesting there or got some ideas of your own or stuff you might want to try. If you're a couple seeing this too, hopefully this lets you understand some of my thought processes and what I do to make your wedding special. What little extra steps can I do to make it not feel like a Spotify playlist or not feel like every other wedding you've attended? I try to make it, I do go out of my way to try and make it special for you. It's something I take it gives me a lot of satisfaction as well to, when I played the Danger Zone, that wasn't on their playlist, but they mentioned the pilot, training and things like that. And there was a big like, oh, wow. Like, it shows that I'm listening and I do want you to have the time of your life at your wedding. And that's one way that I kind of help you to do that is I play songs that I think you will know and like. So, and if a song doesn't work, like I played Panama by Van Halen and kind of didn't get much, so reaction, we're on to the next thing and we change the vibe up and keep it fresh from there. So that's all for now, I guess. Thanks for hanging out, watching, and be on the lookout for some more videos from your boy, DJ Nathan Cabot, and we'll peace out for now. Thanks very much.